don't make the same mistakes that we did when getting started with our short-term rental journey. I'm gonna share a couple of moments as a short-term rental host where things went very wrong, like very wrong, and just how we dealt with them and the systems we would wished we'd put in place in order to prevent them from happening. Short-term rental real estate investing isn't completely passive like stocks are, or really even as passive as long-term rentals, and there's just more chances for things to actually go wrong. And that's just why you have to make sure you have your different systems in place to make sure that you succeed. Hello and welcome to the Wanderlust host channel. My name is Olivia Tati and I am a short-term rental specialist and world traveler on a mission to inspire you to invest in real estate and travel the world. My goal is to build a community of like-minded millennials who have spent years stifling their creativity, break free, and take control over their lives. Now, real quick before I get started, if you find any of this information to be useful, I would really appreciate it if you share this with friends or family or anyone else who you think might benefit from this, because it really helps my channel grow and it really just helps get the word out there. Okay, now back to the content. Things will go wrong when running your short-term rental. It's literally inevitable. You can put as many systems in place, but things will go wrong. But what you can do is learn from other people's mistakes and put those systems in place so that you don't have to go through and deal with it too. This video will hopefully just be a reminder as well to dummy-proof your house as much as possible. And if the same thing goes wrong 3 times or more, it's probably time to change your systems so that it doesn't happen again. And I will say, I don't really panic too much in stressful situations. Before being a short-term rental host, I used to be an engineer in the oil and gas industry, and I had a lot more way pressing things that could have gone wrong, like preventing oil from spilling in the Gulf of Mexico and making sure that our safety systems were in place and all of that. And also being called in the most inconvenient hours, like at 2 a.m. and picking up the phone totally groggy and not knowing what was happening. But I do try to figure things out as quickly as I possibly can. But as long as no one's dying, it really isn't the end of the world. So I'm gonna share with you things that have just gone wrong during our short-term rental journey and things that you can do to avoid making the same mistakes that we did. So I have this first scenario, and this was with my duplex in New Orleans, and I had a guest message me, and this was right before checkout, so they were literally checking out in maybe 3 minutes. And then I had another guest coming in about 4 hours. So I had this guest message me, and it was a picture of one of the curtain rods in one of the bathrooms, or no, it wasn't the bathroom, it was in the bedroom, that had just completely fallen down, like drywall coming out of the wall, just torn out, the nail just had completely come out. You know, just the kind of picture you want to see when a guest is checking out and you have another guest coming in 4 hours. So what had happened is the guest literally pulled back the curtain apparently, and the whole curtain rod came crashing down. So I had made the mistake of asking someone that I didn't know actually put up the curtain rods in this unit, just because I was on a time crunch and I needed to find anyone to help me put these curtain rods up, just because I didn't really trust myself, even though honestly I probably would have done a better job, and I have done a better job now. But at that point in time, I was taking any help that I could get. And so I really didn't take the time to verify their work and make sure that they actually put the nails or the screws through a stud. And so they just put it through the drywall and the anchor came tumbling out after a few months of use. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but now I had this huge gaping hole that I had to fix and figure out how to get the curtain rod back up there and had the little curtain rod holder hanging from it, like tied in. Just frustrating. And at this time, I was still very new to the short-term rental game, so I did not have a handyman that I could just call to help me and fix this curtain that had just fallen down. And it's really out of scope for my cleaner. She also didn't know how to do it. I really just didn't have my boots on the ground team set up yet, and I didn't have any backups either. I was just figuring out as I went, which, to be fair, it's a great way to learn. And so on this specific day, I couldn't even find a handyman to come and help me fix it. Thankfully, I was in town. I travel a lot, but I happened to be in town that one day, so I decided that I was just going to handle it myself and figure it out. The plan for this property, and it still is currently, is to be as hands-off as I possibly can be, meaning I shouldn't need to be there. If something goes wrong, I should have a team in place, and now, thankfully, I do, but at the time I didn't. But that way I can run my property from anywhere. Okay, so with situations like these, I always like to do a look back and see what I could have improved in my system so that I didn't necessarily have to be the one to go there and fix this curtain rod, because I know that there will be another time where things go wrong. So the big solution that I had was create a list of local handymen and create a relationship with them, as well as local cleaners and other local tradespeople, so that if anything ever does go wrong, I can just reach out to my list of contacts and they can be there by the end of the day to fix whatever needs to be fixed. You can usually find these people either through realtors, you can find them through your local general contractor, you may be able to find them through Facebook groups, or asking other short-term rental hosts in the area who they use or who they call. And so that way you're not completely stranded, you have your boots on the ground team, and you know if anything were to ever happen, you've got a team that you can call. So now the second scenario, we were so excited. We'd been working our butts off for a couple of months now to acquire this property, get it set up, fix it up, get it ready to rent out, feeling super stoked. We took our property live and we finally got our first bookings in. And on all of our properties, we put in the smart lock, the 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐿. No one actually knows how to pronounce it. If anyone knows, please tell me. But basically, that's the lock that we use on all of our short-term rentals, and it replaces the deadbolt on the property. And we like this lock because it's super easy to use. It connects to our Wi-Fi. We can set it up with our property management system and create codes from wherever we are, but it also connects with our property management system, and it automatically generates codes that are the last 4 digits of the guest's phone number, and it sets it up so that the code is only active during the time period that that guest is actually visiting the property. So it automatically deactivates whenever their booking is up. So just a super great system when trying to manage a property from afar. But here's the thing. On this one property, the doorknob below also had, you know, one of those little locks that you could lock it from the inside. You needed a key to lock it from the outside, but you can lock it from the inside. We stayed at that property for 2.5 weeks and never had an issue with locking ourselves in, so we figured, you know, the chances of someone actually locking themselves out are so slim, right? So day 1 that the property went live, our first guests come and they check in and everything is so fine, going super smoothly. And then we get this message from our guest, and it said, "Hey, so I locked the bottom lock of the front door and I can't get back in. Is there a way to get the bottom door unlocked?" My apologies, it was a muscle memory movement or something like that. So you can just imagine like the wave of panic. And the funny thing is, my business partner and I literally had talked about this since we'd stayed at the property. I mean, we haven't locked ourselves out. Like, what are the chances someone else would? Because they have access to the deadbolt, right? But there is no key that we provide for the bottom lock, just because we like for the whole environment to be completely keys free. That way we don't have to worry about someone losing keys or whatever. Now, thankfully, at all of my properties, I make sure to keep a backup key for the deadbolt in a lockbox, and even a backup to the backup key in some other location. Just in case, for whatever reason, if the Wi-Fi were to go out or the door battery dies, there's still a way for guests to get in. Now, usually we only need to put in a spare key for the deadbolt, but for this property, thank you thank you that we had some brain cells, that we made copies of the bottom key as well, and we kept that in our shed so we thankfully could tell our guest to go into the shed. We gave them the code for it so that they could get that key and unlock the bottom lock. We can't have this be a frequent occurrence just because having to go all the way to the shed to get that key is just going to be such a hassle. So how do we prevent this from happening? We ended up deciding to actually change out that doorknob completely so that there is no way they can even lock it or accidentally lock it. Just put a regular doorknob on there, then they don't have to worry about messing that up. So basically they'll still have that smart lock, the 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐿 deadbolt. That is it. They won't have to worry about another potential lock that they could accidentally lock themselves in with. We actually just went in this past week to go and change the doorknobs. So once again, just a reminder, things will go wrong in your short-term rental journey. It's just a part of the business. You can do all of the research you can possibly think of, and you're still going to miss things. And that's okay. You just have to learn to roll with the punches and not completely freak out, because otherwise you're going to be freaking out like every week. I'm pretty sure every short-term rental host has plenty of stories they could tell you of things that have gone wrong. But that's all I have for you today. I hope that this was helpful for you, and I hope that this makes you feel a little better if something goes wrong in your own personal short-term rental journey. It doesn't make you a bad host in any way, shape, or form. And once again, if you did find this information to be useful, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like and subscribe button and the little bell notification button, just because it helps grow my channel, and I want to get these videos out to as many people out there to help them out on their short-term rental journey. Thanks for watching. Bye.